Today we are learning more about Thomas Herman. He's the man accused of murdering a woman inside the Cabana Inn. The 55-year-old from Boise was in court today where he was charged with first-degree torture murder in the death of Mamokete Folkes. This is a picture of her from the Ada County Sheriff's Office. Scott Evans was in court today. He joins us now with the latest on what we know. Scott?
Dee, it was in court today that we learned that prosecutors outlined the brutal way that Mamokete Folkes died. We also learned that Thomas Herman was actually arrested just a few months ago, December 27th, on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He later pleaded down to a misdemeanor of disturbing the peace, and he served only a 20-day jail sentence. But in court today, Herman only said one word as Judge Swain did most of the talking. Herman faces two charges, the first-degree murder torture charge and first-degree premeditated murder for the death of Folkes. The torture charge is defined as extreme or prolonged pain. Here's Judge Swain reading what Herman is accused of doing.
By inflicting repeated acts of blunt force trauma to the head, torso, and extremities of Mamokete Folkes with his hands and feet, which caused fatal brain injury, broken bones, tissue damage, and a lacerated liver from which she died.
Herman's criminal history dates back to 1976 with a burglary and robbery charge out of Ohio. He even has an escape charge out of Utah back in 1980. On his booking sheet, he wrote that he was homeless. Now, because of his history and no apparent ties to the community, and also because the prosecution believes he could be a danger to this community, he was not given bond today, so he will remain in jail through his trial. Dee?
I want to ask you just a couple things real quickly. Scott, did they give any indication what the relationship might have been between Mamokete Folkes and Mr. Herman?
No, there were no details given on any of that. Really, the judge did most of the talking, and that was reading the court documents. And when prosecution usually gives their argument for bond, they talk about some of these things, but today they didn't talk about any of that, just his criminal history.
All right, thank you for the update, Scott. And that next court appearance will be March 20th. That's a preliminary hearing. If Herman is eventually convicted, prosecutors could seek the death penalty in this case.